afternoon. Happy and blessed Wednesday, everyone. I hope you're having a great Wednesday so far and just a blessed day. And anyone that is new here, welcome. I'm glad you're here. My name is Catherine Barnett, and I go by Cat Barnett. And this is the Cat Barnett podcast, episode 60. So crazy that we're here. And I also help women who struggle with confidence in their faith and fitness, develop strategies and systems that lead them to gain clarity, direction, and purpose so that they can be fulfilled as they walk in their calling faithfully. And I'm just blessed to be here with you guys another Wednesday. And as we keep rolling and growing, I'm just grateful that, each and every week I'm here giving you guys any value that I have, anything that I'm currently going through, been through, or have overcame. And so this episode 60, I'm just really grateful and blessed that I have a special guest with me that you guys are going to hear from shortly. And before I bring her on, I do want to first let you guys know to continue just being patient and showing up each and every Wednesday, hearing the value from my podcast episodes, but that under the works, I'm creating a free mastermind class that we're just gonna that I'm gonna give out to the public, and we're gonna learn, we're gonna grow, and then propel to finish out this year into the next year, 2026. So just continue to be on the out for that. That is in the works. And so yeah, getting into this episode, I want to talk about my special guest before I bring her on because I truly believe uh you should give someone their flowers before they're gone. You need to really tell people how you feel and the impact they make on your life. So I have known this woman, this powerhouse boss lady for about, I say, a little over 3 years going on now. And just getting to know her more is just very, even more inspiring. And you guys will get to, just see a glimpse of what I'm talking about. So she is, a woman that is constantly busy. She's even going to be out of town soon here shortly, but she wears many hats. She is a nutrition and fitness coach. She is also a wife, and she is a mother of 3 kids, and two of them are also twin boys. So she's got the best of both worlds, and she's also a fitness professional pro bodybuilder. She even has a competition that she's actually going to leave for and go out of town for, that she'll probably tell you guys a little bit about more of. And she was even a former the gym that I go to, the facility owner, co-owner with her husband. And like, I could go on and on about her, but I just want you guys to know, most importantly, that she is a believer in Jesus Christ and a woman of God, and just a great spirit. So without further ado, I just want you guys to hear. She's going to bless us with her value, her knowledge, and just even her presence. So if you guys can help give a warm welcome to Corina Harkelroad.
Yeah.
Corina, can you hear me?
Hello. You
Did I
actually
say
you
your
said
last
my last
name
name right.
right? Did I say it right? Your
Yes,
last name?
yes.
Okay. Because I never want to butcher someone's name.
Oh
So I
my
just always want to make sure I say it correctly. And I just want to thank you, like we got the privilege to, chop it up a little bit before we got on, but just like I said, I don't take this lightly whenever I have a guest on the podcast, because I know you're so busy and the time is limited. So just for you to come on and, give me some of your time and just like I said, gonna bless us with your knowledge. I am truly grateful and just thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me and thank you for all the kind words. I am blessed to be here. So, thank you very much. I'm nervous, but I'm excited to talk with you.
Hey, and nerves is good. There's nothing wrong with that, but yeah, no worries. We just gonna have a conversation. That's what I tell everybody, and that's what we're gonna do. And even before we get too far into this episode, like if you don't mind, Karina, just to let people watching and listening that are watching and listening live, and even anyone that's gonna watch the replay, just if you can tell them a little bit more about yourself, like who is Corina Harkelroad?
Yes. Okay. So you did started off with I am a believer. I got my kingdom of God. So I did pray before this and just prayed that, I can bless those who are watching. So I am a mother. I am 40 years old. I turned 40 in January. So I am actually considered a master's in the IFBB professional league that I compete in. So it's kind of nice because then I have the master's division where I don't have to go against all the young bucks. But I am competing this weekend in Oklahoma, and I will be competing as a master's, but I'm also going to be competing against the young bucks. So I'm doing open and masters. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
And then, and then
exciting though.
go ahead.
I said that's exciting though. That's really
Yes. It's fun. But to give you a little bit more about me, I am a mother of twin boys, Drake and Isaiah. They're 14, eighth grade. So I got the teenagers. And then my daughter is 11 in sixth grade. And she's like going on to 21. So it's terrifying. But they're involved in sports. My son is a skateboarder. Drake is a skateboarder. So he gives me all the gray hairs watching him do his tricks. And then my other son, Isaiah, has a football game tonight, and he is way into football, passionate about that. He's my buddy who likes to work out. So I am going to get him into a class at Triumph because he really wants to lift and stuff. So, and then Lily's a dancer. So I am kind of all over the place. But with my bodybuilding and competing, I really, truly hope to inspire women, and anybody. Like, it's never too late to do and go after your dreams. And especially my children, because they've seen me lose. I've been competing as a professional now since 2019, but I got into bodybuilding in 2018. And so with bodybuilding, it's a lot of losses. So they've seen me kind of just keep going. And that's the point. I'm like, I'm not giving up. I have dreams. I'm going to get after it. So, and then Justin and I are celebrating 15 years of marriage this month. So that's, he's a blessing. And yeah, that's kind of my life. Mom, I just got done teaching at Triumph. So did the build class at 10:30. So lifting weights, which is another passion of mine, is just helping people feel good, both mentally and, physically.
Amen. We could end the episode right here. We're not going to, because you already spread so much value, but in what you're saying, and that's the thing, they can't really, because we're sitting down and everything, but one of the things too that I think what also drew me to you too when I started Triumph is because we are small women, we're small in stature and everything if you see us, but we're very strong, and what drew me to you is that you're very gentle. Yeah, you have that nurturing, like that, as a mother and everything, but you're very strong and courageous and strength. You don't shun people, especially women, for being powerful, and I just love that, because it's something about like don't like I will always, love men, and it's just like, yes, we need men, but it's something about when us women know our power and know that like lifting weights, like it's something about that strength as women. It's like shout out to you women. Shout out to
Yes.
women right now. Yes. So I just love that, and that's something too that gravitated me towards you. And um, yeah, so like, just getting into the episode, I'm definitely gonna want you to touch base more on bodybuilding because, we talked about how I think a lot of women are interested in that more, but also just even for the fitness girlies who aren't into bodybuilding or interested in there's certain those misconceptions out there that we'll get into, that maybe you can help clarify, or just your experience in it. But I do want you to, be since you've been in the fitness world for quite some time now, how long would you say, to be exact, would you have you been in like the fitness world?
I think a lot of people, and maybe you don't know this about me, Catherine, but I think a lot of people think I've been doing this my whole life, lifting weights and going to a gym, and that's not the case. So I did grow up and I did gymnastics throughout middle school and high school, but I never went to a gym. Like I never lifted weights, nothing like that. We like did flips and stuff and stretching. And then I went to college, partied a little too much, definitely not enough exercise. I went to IU. And then after I graduated, I ended up moving to Fort Wayne for a job at Lincoln Financial Group. And so sitting at a desk, there were no windows. The food, people would bring in the goodies. The food thing was right by my desk. So I got to smell it and I'd go and eat it, in between phone calls. So definitely had no fitness, later, like in my early 20s. And then ended up getting married. And Justin and I got married in September, found out I was pregnant with twins in December, the day after Christmas. And we had just got married. And I thought, oh, it's going to take me forever to get pregnant. So right away, I'm pregnant with twins. And I thought, okay, I get to eat. Like, I like some food. I mean, we got Papa John's once a week at least. I went to Red Lobster once a week. They knew me by name. We'd get like the Cookie Monster, the chocolate chip cookie with ice cream.
Mm.
So I actually got up to 200 pounds. So I'm 5 foot. And in my pregnancy, I got up to 200 pounds and had two healthy baby boys, 6 pounds, 9 ounces, and 5'12". So pretty big for twins. And what's crazy is Justin and I both didn't exercise, never belonged to a gym. And he ended up hiring Tyler, who is now the owner of Triumph, who you did have on your podcast. And actually, Tyler's the one that introduced us to fitness. He introduced us to P90X, Beachbody, and Shakeology, which is like a protein shake. I never knew anything about protein. I didn't know anything about nutrition. Like I was a gymnast. I ate whatever I wanted when I was growing up. And then it catches up to you, obviously, when you're an adult. And so I had a lot of weight after these babies. And I was exhausted. I'm trying to like take care of two kids, feed them. And when did I have time to feed myself? So the shake was actually so beneficial because I was able to get some protein in. I didn't eat a lot of protein. So that was kind of like my very first introduction to fitness. And I think that's just how God works. Like he placed Tyler into our lives and blessed us with P90X because Justin actually gained 50 pounds in my pregnancy. He was a great spouse. Like we ate, we watched Cake Boss and he'd be making some cakes for us thinking he is Cake Boss. So we both put on weight and we both did a full round of P90X, which I was able to get down to my pre-pregnancy weight, thankfully. And then busy with the boys. And then I got pregnant with my daughter and had 3 kids under 3. And with Lily, I gained same thing. I gained a ton of weight. I got up to 185 with one baby. So, and my normal weight's like 110, 115. And so after her, I have 3 kids under 3. I'm exhausted. I'm overweight. I don't feel good in my body. I suffered with postpartum depression. So this was my first, like, there's a lot of mental health issues in my family, but I realized like I was struggling with anxiety, depression. I was exhausted. And so I ended up going to the doctor and they did blood work on me. And I thought maybe it was my thyroid, but it ended up I was pre-diabetic. And so my mom has type 2 diabetes. She's in remission now, but I've seen her struggle with her weight my whole life. And she ended up getting the bariatric surgery. So I've seen everything she's had to go through, from cancer to having surgery, from diabetes, all of it. And so as soon as I was diagnosed with that, it was like, I have 3 babies to live for. Like, this is terrifying. And that's what got me into a gym. And it wasn't until Lily was over a year old, I finally went to the Y. And it was like, okay, I'll never forget. I did a turbo kick class, which is like kickboxing and cardio. I came home, my face was red. Justin was like, what did they do to you? And I'm like, I don't know, but I loved it. So it started, like, my fitness journey started with group exercise and just that community, kind of like you talked about. Like, I was scared to go to the weight room because I had that misconception of, yeah, you lift weights, you're going to look like a man. And so, like, the cardio kickboxing was like, this is fun. This is awesome. So I'd go once a week, and pretty much that was it for a long time. And they had the childcare. So it was like, oh my gosh, like, I felt like, one, mentally, because I was suffering with that postpartum depression, it saved me. It literally saved me. Like, it gave me so much joy, and I just felt good. Those good endorphins, like when you move your body. I was still eating like crap. Okay, we still having Papa John's all the time. So nutrition has not changed at this point. But other than my Shakeology, I did have the protein shake. But then eventually, like, I was going to these group exercise classes, and I was feeling good, and I was a better mom. I did struggle with a lot of mom guilt, like putting them in childcare, but I realized, like, I was able to keep my cool instead of like screaming and yelling and scaring these little babies. I was able to, like, let out all of my stress in that room, and it was life-changing. And so I was like, okay, I was able to let go of the mom guilt because I'm a better mom. I'm a better wife. I feel better. My mood's better. I'm not depressed. I'm not crying, every 2 seconds. So it was a game changer. And I didn't really get into the bodybuilding or lifting weights for years. So I started probably going to a gym at the Y in 2015. And I was doing all these classes, and I decided, why don't I teach one of these classes? Like, that'd be fun. And so I started that journey. And then one of the workers there kept telling me, like, you should compete. You should compete in bodybuilding. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. I had no idea what she was talking about. And so then we were in 2018, my family went on a trip to Punta Cana, and I was at the pool, and somebody came up to me and was like, are you competing? Are you in prep? And I was like, no. But then I'm like, okay, God, I hear you. This lady at the gym for 3 years is like, you should compete. You should compete. And then some stranger is like, do you compete? And it was January 2018. And I'm like, January, you're looking for new goals. You're trying to, like, I had become an instructor at the Y. I'm loving it. Still have not changed my food, by the way. But just, like, really enjoying that. And I'm like, okay, so maybe I should try this competing thing. And that's when I went back to the Y after vacation. I'm like, okay, tell me more about this competing thing. And my birthday's in January, and I went all in. So I hired a coach. Hiring a nutrition coach and a fitness coach is not cheap. And so I was like, talked Justin into it. I'm like, it was like $2,000 for the whole year. And I paid for the whole year. I'm like, I'm doing this. So that's kind of where the bodybuilding came in, my fitness journey came in. But it all started with Tyler, and it started with group exercise. So, I still love it to this day. And that's kind of how Triumph came about.
Thank God for Tyler.
I know, right?
Shout out to you, Tyler. If you watch this, shout out to you.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's an awesome story because the one thing that you said that stood out to me was, God will put certain people in our lives that we least expect that will either, help encourage or inspire us to get into something that helps lead us to our purpose even more, or at least he'll bring people in our lives also to tell us, hey, maybe we don't need to be doing that, or they don't need to be in our lives. So
right.
it's or a lesson, to learn. So man, what a blessing it was that happened. And so that's because I did know some of that, but that's cool to know. I didn't know you were an instructor at the Y.
I
So
was.
that inspired, you coaching now, what you're doing. So that's awesome. And then, you also were talking about a little bit how your nutrition journey didn't start till later.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what got the ball rolling, which you didn't say, but I was just curious. Did you
Mhm.
ever, because I know now you don't drink any alcohol. Did you ever, well, of course, in college, you said you partied and stuff.
Yes. So actually, I was a mess girl. So my dad has been sober now 22 years. He celebrated sobriety on September 2nd for 22 years. Um, Addiction is in my family rampant. I have a brother who's overdosed on fentanyl. Thank God he's still with me.
Wow.
And my mom is addicted to alcohol. I lost my uncle, my mom's brother, to alcohol. Like
Mm,
he went to go, he agreed. We like kind of had an intervention. He agreed to go get help, and he had to detox in the hospital. And during that detox, he died because
wow.
everything was shutting down. So,
Mm,
for me personally, I went to college and I had never dabbled in alcohol in high school because my mom was super strict. She had me at 16. So she was like, "You're not going to any parties," like, super
mhm.
strict. So when I got to college, I'm like, I got this freedom. This
Yeah.
is like, and I realize now looking back, I am outgoing, but I get really anxious in situations where I don't know somebody. Like I'm shy. I think I'm more so I'm learning. Like I love people and I like talking, but I'm like kind of an introvert as well. And so like I think I used alcohol totally in these situations. I'm new to college, I'm meeting new people, and I know it's what I use to like feel good, to be able to feel okay to be with people.
Yeah.
And it got to the point though, like I never like drank every day, but when I drank, it was blackout. Like I had friends who wouldn't know when to stop drinking, and I never was that person. It was like one, and then you're never gonna get me to stop until I
Mm,
pass out. And so like I never got sick, nothing like that. Maybe the next day when I'm hungover, but nothing to stop me.
mhm.
So I had a drinking ticket before I was 21 in college. So that was the first kind of like, dang it.
Yeah.
Then I ended up having to get my stomach pumped. And I didn't even know I had went to the hospital and almost died. It
Wow.
was like I woke up the next day and I go to the bathroom. You know, you wake up after partying and you got to go pee.
Yeah.
I sit on the toilet and I'm like, I have a hospital gown on. And I
Wow.
had like, and no clue. And a friend at the time was like, yeah, you almost killed yourself. You almost died. And I
Wow.
had no recollection. And so that didn't stop me from drinking. I was working at a bar, still partying, still going wild. And then even when I moved here and I was working at Lincoln, I'm still partying at Pierre's, still showing up to work.
That's where you met Justin, right? At
I
Pierre.
met him at flashbacks, but
Okay.
yes, we had lots of times at Pierre's. We lived in Canterbury Green, so we're right there. We could walk. We could walk to the bar. Um, and honestly, it was really bad for our relationship. So, because I black out and I was mean to him. And so it was always a problem in our marriage. So not only, like I almost died, but then it's like breaking up relationships. And I still didn't think I had a problem. And honestly, like, okay, fine, I'm not going to drink with you, but I'm going to drink with my girls. So I'm still drinking. You know, I'll never forget, I went out with some friends having 3 kids and got wasted, blacked out, and I had to teach a class the next day, take care of kids. I'm like, honestly, what stopped me was hiring my bodybuilding coach. So even though I knew all these things, it wasn't until I got the nutrition and like the education and to see like my uncle dying, it was like, okay, I see this is just destruction. And once I learned, you know, how alcohol really affects our body, it affects your sleep, it affects, you know, everything. So if you have like physique goals, alcohol is like the first to go.
Right.
And I realized it's just toxin that I'm putting in my body. And so that was kind of like the bodybuilding saved my life, fitness saved my life. It was like, that's when I started learning about nutrition. You know, I learned about protein and how important it is and how alcohol is like, no. And so that's kind of my journey with alcohol. So yeah, I'm completely sober now. And I don't, you know, I never thought, oh, how am I ever going to go to a wedding, or how am I ever going to live as an adult without alcohol? Because it's everywhere. Now it's like, they're just, I never want to go back to that. I never want to go back to that. So, and I tell my kids, I'm like, you guys, first of all, we have addictive, you know, personalities. That's probably why I love exercise so much, because it's that feel good. That's my addiction now. But yeah, I never judge anybody if they want to drink, but just something I never want to do.
No, hey, and congrats to you, because it's not easy to stop something when you've been doing it for so long. Because I drink every now and then, you know what I mean? But it's ironic that is also in my story, you know, drinking, getting in trouble with drinking. But for me, it was more of the people I hang around with. I had to evaluate more of, okay, who was in my circle? Who do I need to cut out so I can get back on the right path, you know? So, but yeah, that's just dope. And one day I want to get there. I'm almost there, but I ain't quite there. But yeah, that's just awesome to hear. And, you know, so, you know, we keep talking about it. We might as well get to it. So, you know, you talked about bodybuilding, right? So you started it officially in 2018. So then what inspired you to really like dive in? And really, this is what I consider your another, you know, niche, another little, not little, but another career for you.
Yeah.
So what inspired you after, you know, 2018, you got a dip of it to just like, okay, this is what I want to do. And like this year, as a 40-year-old, like we talked about, you're doing the most in bodybuilding you've ever done. Like the most, you know,
the most shows. This is the year of the most shows.
Yeah. So yeah, what keeps inspiring that? What inspired you to go all in, and what keeps you motivated to keep going?
So I hired my coach, and so I will say this, kind of go back to the muscle and being scared of turning into a man. That was a fear of mine. I was actually a group exercise and a personal trainer at the YMCA. And when I took my clients through workouts, I never went to the machines. I never had them lift really heavy, because all my clients are women and they wanted to get toned. And so for me, I didn't have the knowledge of food. I just knew exercises, and a lot of them didn't want to get bulky. And in my mind still, it was like, okay, that's how you get bulky, because I wasn't lifting heavy weights. And so it wasn't until I hired my coach and she gave me my workout plan, and it was going into the like actual weight room. So me as a personal trainer, I'm terrified to go in this weight room. One, I don't know how to use the equipment. I'm like, okay, how do I do this cable? I'm YouTubing everything. Like, what is this move? How do I do it? Never use a Smith machine, like nothing, no heavy weights. It was always dumbbells. And so, you know, I'm following my coach. I'm really good rule follower. So I did all this stuff, learned, and I hated it at first because I wanted the group exercise. I wanted people around me. I thought it was so boring to be lifting heavy by myself with my headphones on. But as I got going and I saw my body change almost rapidly, like just implementing protein and knowing what to eat and when to eat it. And, I thought peanut butter was protein, which has some protein in it, but it's not like I was eating a jar of peanut butter a day, you guys. Like, that's not good. And so, just knowing, like, I thought, okay, after my workout, I'm eating like celery and peanut butter. Like, this is perfect. But I wasn't getting the protein to help rebuild the muscle. And so once I started lifting weights and I saw my body change, it was like, and people asked me, like, what are you doing? I had been teaching classes and working out in good shape for 3 years, but it wasn't until I started focusing on protein and lifting heavy that my body actually changed. And I was able to build muscle. And it's crazy because people think, oh, I build muscle, I'm going to get bigger. No, I was like shrinking because fat takes up more space than muscle. So if this is muscle and this is fat, they weigh the same, but muscle's smaller. And so like people are like, oh my gosh, your body's changing. What are you doing? And honestly, I was like, well, I hired a coach and I learned about nutrition and how important protein was, because I was that person that was like, okay, you need to do all the cardio, you need to burn a ton of calories and not eat anything. And so that's what I was doing. And then it was like, well, once I hired my coach and I learned macros and protein, fats, and carbs and how I can like fit certain goodies in, because I have a sweet tooth, ice cream's my jam, and chocolate. And so it was like, oh, I can still have these things. It's not like I have to eat celery and peanut butter all the time. I could have this, but I also need to incorporate some chicken breast, and, rice is great. And, I just started learning. And so that inspired me to get my nutrition cert and start helping people with nutrition, because I felt bad as a personal trainer. I'm telling people, yeah, just eat 1,200 calories. Like that's what women do. We eat 1,200 calories. So that was like, I saw how it changed my life, just that. And then getting on stage, I was a gymnast competing for a long time. It was like a part of me missed that competition aspect. I didn't have that as an adult. And so it was like, okay, I have all these children. I kind of lost myself. I did find fitness and that was fun, but it was like, what can I do to challenge myself? And that's where the fitness competitions came in and bodybuilding came in. And once I realized that there's a division where you don't just have to pose, I get to do like a routine and flips, kind of like gymnastics, then it was like game over. I'm obsessed. It made me feel like a kid again. It's terrifying right before you're about to get on stage. But it's that adrenaline rush, and it's like accomplishing this goal and performing and competing. It just really fills my cup. And I think that's important as a mom, or as an adult. It's like you have to set goals for yourself, have something you're always working for, because that's how you grow. Like, yeah, it's terrifying. It was terrifying getting on stage the first time, and it still is. I still get terrified all these years later. But it's something about having a goal, working towards it, and then, getting scared and still doing it. And then that makes you stronger. And like I said, I really want to show my kids that, because trying new things is scary. Being in front of people is scary. Doing hard things is scary, but it does make you a better person. And it gives you that drive to keep going.
Yes.
I got preachy there.
I was like, I love how these like conversations can really take me to church. I just don't even want to say it. I'm like, preach, yes,
Yeah.
yes. So I'm like, yeah, and we're getting a lot of value. Like a lot of people are coming in saying value, because everything you saying, and thank you for being so vulnerable, because you're sharing your story with us. And like it all, I just love how a lot of what you said, but something that tied in there was like, do it scared anyways, do it uncomfortable, because it's something that's like, okay, it's bringing you joy. keep doing it. Like, I love getting on here every time, bringing guests on to like share what they've been through, how they can impact somebody, and the value we can bring. Like, that's what lights me up. And yeah, sometimes I get nervous, but it's like I always say, like, we're doing a disservice, right? If we got nervous and didn't, you didn't teach or you didn't train and inspire somebody to do what they're called to do, we would be doing a disservice. So I just think it's awesome that I see you continue to do that and go for your dreams. And you guys who are watching, you're gonna have to follow her. By the end of this episode, we'll give you the information where you can follow her, because the things she does on that stage is crazy. Like, me in my 30s could never. Like, I'm like, wow. So kudos to you, Corina, to just keep doing your thing, because it's just amazing to see. But before we're not done, we're getting there, but we're not done yet. But some of the stuff you said that I think is very key, because you're a coach. You're, like I said, I consider you a OG, a mentor to people. But one of the key things that stood out that I was even going to ask you, that you said that was key, was you hired a coach to
Yes.
help you in bodybuilding, right? So a question I was going to ask you, with you being a coach and you still having, coaches and mentors as well, why would you say it's important for coaches to have coaches as well and mentors to have mentors?
100%. I think it is so important. And I think I'll have a coach for the rest of my life. Even if I'm done bodybuilding, when you're trying to learn something, one, it saves you so much time and heartache and failures just to hire a coach. So, for me, it was like, gosh, I wish I would have hired a coach when I was 25 or before kids, so I could have fueled my body properly for them. I wouldn't have been so tired all the time. I would have, it just would have saved me a lot. I would have probably stopped drinking way before, it was, so hiring a coach takes out the guesswork, and it's that accountability. I think that's the biggest thing, because I have had seasons where I'm in my off season. So it's like, oh, I could eat whatever I want. But and I'm a nutrition coach. I know what to do, but to have the accountability and checking in with somebody is so helpful. And like, even when I started my nutrition coaching business, I hired a mentor. How do I do this nutrition coaching thing? And they laid out and they would give me like tasks. Okay, first you need to build a website. And so having that coach tell me what to do, and it's like, okay, that's the first step. Now do this, now do this. And having somebody to go to ask questions. And I just love seeing, like, I have some younger girls that have come to me for nutrition coaching, and it's like, I am so proud of you doing this at your age. Like, you are saving yourself so much heartache and stress. Like, you're not waiting until you have type 2 diabetes. You're not waiting until you have your heart attack, or that you can't, get pregnant, with all, PCOS. Like, there's so many autoimmune going on right now, that it's like, they're setting themselves up for success, and they're going to help those around them. Like, that's what I found when I hired my coach. It was like, I learned all this stuff and I just wanted to share it with the world. And I think with women, especially, like, there's, like I said, the pressure to do more, eat less. We're trying to, like, we're tired all the time and we're exhausted, and we wonder why. Well, it's because you had coffee today and that's it. And maybe like a cracker, because we think, oh, we can't eat. And I think that was the biggest game changer for me, because I was the same way. Like, for me, when I was a gymnast growing up, I'll bring this up. Like, I went through a phase of anorexia. Like, I wouldn't eat. I would not eat. And it wasn't until my gymnastics coach said, food is fuel. It's like gas in your gas tank. And if you don't have it, you're not going to be able to perform. And of course, I'm competitive and I want to win. And that was kind of like the switch in my brain. But still, as an adult, I still kind of had that same thing. Like, oh, I can't have ice cream if I want to get in shape. I can't have this. And it was all the things I can't have. And I think that's a big misconception too. It's like, no, what can you have? Can you drink more water? Can you just add in a protein shake a day? Like that's those little things like make such a huge difference. And, not being so restrictive, I think is the message I try to get across. I don't even know if I answered your question, but I could talk nutrition and fitness all day long. So
you did, and I know I just love that because we got JD in the house, and she said yes.
Hire your coach. That was the question. Hire a coach. You need accountability.
Yes. Coaches need coaches too. So
yes.
And and that's so true. And even in the Bible, they talk about iron sharpens iron. When you have someone else, like you said, that accountability person right there with you in the trenches, you're like, okay, we can do this. We can get through this. So
yeah.
I just love that. And before we wrap it up, because we're coming in for a landing. We coming in. Can you believe already 40 minutes have passed? It's crazy, but
it's fun.
It's fun. So yeah, but yeah. So I would love to get your take. So probably not the last question, but we're getting to the last question. If you had like a woman that came to you and she was a little scared, a little discouraged, she's like started her fitness journey, little new, but she's interested in learning more about bodybuilding as well. But she's just very scared. She's not really taking the actions, the steps because of the fear, the judgment of what people might say. And just not really the faith in herself yet, right? That confidence in herself yet. What are some 3 tips or advice that you would give to this woman or just anyone in general?
Yes. Okay. I would say first, hire a coach, because even though I'm a personal trainer and a nutrition coach, I have a personal trainer. So I think that's the biggest thing. Like if you're scared, and I just had a client, I've been working with her for probably 3 years now, and she did not want to go to the gym. She refused to go to the gym. She would do little Pinterest workouts at home, which is great. And that's fine. But I will tell you, she's like 40 personal training sessions in. This woman has put on muscle, lost body fat. She is feeling so much more confident to go into an actual gym. And I think that's the first, like, if you're scared to go by yourself, get a friend, hire somebody, because then you have somebody there showing you everything and you can have that confidence. So I would say that's the first step or go to like a group exercise class to where you're not alone, and come to Triumph because it's in the dark. You don't have to worry about everybody looking at you.
Yes.
Yeah. I would say like find somebody maybe that you look up to if you are scared to do it by yourself, and ask them questions. So that would be my first thing. Hire a coach or find somebody who you see doing the thing that you want to do. Like you're doing a podcast. Justin and I want to do a podcast. Like we're going to totally be talking to you about this, because it's like find somebody who's doing something that you want to do. That's number one. I would say the first thing too, kind of like I talked about before, is if you're not hiring a coach, maybe you don't have the money, and that's okay. I would say, there's so much information online that you probably could find the answers that you're trying to find. It's going to take longer, but I would say don't think about what do I need to take out of my life. Don't do that. What can you put in? So maybe it's like, okay, I'm not doing any exercise right now. Let me just go for a 15-minute walk daily. Start there. And then maybe the next week you're doing 20 minutes. And same with food. Okay, don't take out all the pizza and all the stuff that you love, but let's maybe add something in. So maybe add in, if you're doing pizza, maybe with that pizza, you're having like a protein shake. There's so many yummy protein treats and things out there right now. So trying to add a little more protein in, or maybe it's even just like a little bit more like veg, or just adding something in. Don't think about everything you need to take away. And the next tip for somebody who's scared and worried about starting, I would say do it scared. Do it scared. I know it's scary. I remember going in my first group exercise class. I made my mom come with me. It's like grab somebody, don't do it alone. If you're interested in something, I'm sure somebody will be there alongside you because it's about community. It's just don't be scared to ask, like I'm so happy you asked me to do this. Don't think, oh, that person's too busy, I can't ask them. This, you're making these stories up in your head. Ask somebody, and you never know. The worst that could happen is they say no. So those are three. Don't be scared. Do it scared. Yeah.
Boom, baby. Love it. And like people are even asking, Corina, they want to know, where can they find you? Where can they follow you on social medias, on all the socials? Because like I said, this has been very fun. It's been very knowledgeable and very encouraging and inspiring. And they want to know, where can they follow you?
Okay, I do have a YouTube that I did do, like, I haven't done in a long time, but you could watch some of my past preps last summer. I went through like kind of what I do on a daily for competing. And then let me look up I don't even know my Instagram is
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Corina.
Yeah, and I can type it in the chat here.
Okay. Would you say it and you're gonna type it in?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Corina. Do you know how to spell my name?
Yes, I do.
Marie. And then it's _ IFBB Pro.
They're getting it all caps, but it's coming their way.
Yay. Yes, and DM me, ask me questions. As you can see, I love talking all this. And I love helping people. And I'm not too busy.
No, yes. Thank you so much for the value you've brought, the time you've spent with me this early afternoon. It's been a lot of fun, and it's just been a great joy, and I'm blessed for having your presence and you blessing us today.
Oh, me too. I've been blessed. Thank you so much for asking.
Yeah, no worries. And with that being said, y'all, this concludes the 60th episode of the Cat Barnett podcast. And I just hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday and an even better week. And as always, peace, love, and blessings. And thanks again, Corina.
Yes, thank you.